we ready? We'll now call this meeting to order. If we could have roll call, please.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Present.
Commissioner Benicki,
Present.
Commissioner Asper,
Present.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Present.
Commissioner Lamore,
Present.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Present.
Commissioner Swartout,
Present.
Commissioner Moore,
Here.
Commissioner Levens,
Present.
quorum present.
We would all now rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Levens. We'll now have our opening prayer.
Almighty God, we know that your thoughts are not our thoughts, nor are your ways our ways. For the heavens are higher than the earth, so are your ways higher than ours. We ask that you reveal to us your thoughts throughout this meeting. Let our ways be aligned with your ways, and let this meeting be aligned with and a reflection of your heavenly activity. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Now, if I could get a motion to approve the agenda.
I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda. I'd like to take under old business, the investigation funding discussion, and move that to the 16th, along with the discussion on the investigation with Ms. Gabus.
Okay.
I'd like to additionally, if the maker of the motion would accept the friendly amendment to that, to add additionally the second item of old business for the Indigent Defense Commission update to that next meeting as well.
Yes.
And then I'll support it.
Mr. Graham?
Did we add is the closed session included now?
Yes. I believe the closed session for negotiations has been added
Yeah,
also.
so I was hoping we were gonna take a motion on adding the collective bargaining closed session first, because it takes 6 votes,
Yes, we can,
and then approve the agenda, is what I was hoping for.
okay, could we get a motion to move into closed session for the purpose of bargaining? Can I get a motion on that?
Not to go into closed session now, but to add that to the agenda.
It's agenda. I'll make that motion.
Moved by Huffman,
Second.
supported by Lamore. Any questions on this? Commissioner Asper?
So because we were going to handle things tonight, I have set up 2 Zoom meetings that I have to be on next Tuesday night. I also was not able to be at the agenda meeting this last Thursday because at the beginning of the year, we set our meetings and our agenda meetings. And I had to set up an event for a group that I was president of. So I did it according to that original meeting. We just seem to change these meetings so much. And we changed the agendas at the last minute, and we were asking about this before. This needs to be taken care of before the night of the meeting. And so now I don't know what I'm going to be doing. And it's a week before Christmas. I know you're not a woman, and you don't understand the meaning of that. But we thought that we were going to be able to take care of this. And to not be able to be at 2 meetings and then to expect us to change all of the arrangements that we've made around these meetings is just really, really difficult. So I've asked about this before. I've requested this before, that and the agenda has changed. I realize that, Sarah can't be here, and I totally understand that. But things that weren't going to be taken care of now suddenly are an emergency. And I just wanted to express my disappointment in the scheduling of our meetings and agenda meetings and so forth, and how it has just, for 8 years, I never missed a meeting, and this year, here I am up against a second meeting.
Additional comments, Commissioner Swartout?
Is there any reason we can't do this the first meeting in January? Looking at what we got that we're going to go through, I don't see where it would make a difference to do it in January.
Well, I know that our attorney for the investigation is pretty set on trying to get it done on the 16th. I know that there's a lot that has to be done to do the final report. We'll probably be looking at the final report in one of the first meetings in January. So as much as we can get done leading up to that, I think we're better off. Commissioner Swartout.
I just think we'll be in the same position next week we are now. Her dad's not doing well. He's in the hospital.
I would echo that too. I think it'd be important to have all the commissioners there for that type of vote. I would also echo too, I set my whole year around Tuesdays and Thursdays if I can, being in real estate. I'm with clients. I know that I schedule out Tuesday evenings, the 1st and 3rd. I think in coming up on 9 years, I've missed 4 meetings due to unforeseen circumstances, but it's very, very difficult to put things on different days and different weeks. And it just does a disservice to the constituents when their representatives can't show up because of that.
Any other comments?
Maybe the same date, but move the date back to a later time, the same date.
On the
That would help.
on the 16th?
Yes. What time you get done, Dawn?
Well, it's an orientation. It's an orientation. So it starts at 7:30. So there's no way.
Hour?
No, I'm taking over another position. So I'm going to be taking over a presidency, and it's all the people. I mean, we don't need to get into that. These people don't need to be sitting here listening to my personal stuff.
Okay.
So it's just that, once again, I'm just expressing that this last minute stuff, and all of us serve on 3 other boards that go along with this. So this is I just think that since we've waited a year for this report roughly, and she's got Christmas too. So I just feel like, it's probably, I hope her father is not going to die between now and then, but I mean, there's just a lot of ifs, and I just don't know that we should do our board on that basis.
Any other comments? Yes, Mr.
Sorry
Graham.
to keep interrupting. I just want to make sure that when we're approving this agenda, we're approving it with the closed session with Sarah Gabus removed and the new closed session for collective bargaining included. Did we do all that?
Yes.
And the 2 items of old business are also moved to that meeting next Tuesday.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Benicki?
Yes.
Commissioner Asper?
No.
Commissioner Heinzerling?
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore?
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel?
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
No.
Commissioner Levens?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next is the approval of minutes from the November 13th rescheduled meeting. Could I get a motion?
Make the motion.
Support.
Moved by Heinzerling, supported by Swartout. Any questions, additions, corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki?
Yes.
Commissioner Asper?
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling?
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore?
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel?
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Levens?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We now move into our first segment of public comment. Are there citizens in the audience who wish to address the board?
Thank you, Chairman Wenzel and Commissioners. I'm Darcy Piedmont with District 2, or from District 2, and I'm here as a member of the Stronger Together Huddle of Monroe. And our social justice group has been organizing for the common good since 2016. Several of us are here tonight to make sure that you, as leaders in this county, understand the unfortunate mischaracterization of Monroe County's No King's Day by Senator Joe Bellino. We've tried to correct Bellino's record on the state Senate floor, but feel we also need to make sure that you, as county commissioners, know the truth. And to that end, I will read a letter that was sent to the Senate majority and minority leaders in response to Joe Bellino's Senate floor speech. Dear Senator Brink and Senator Nesbitt, we respectfully submit this letter for inclusion in the official Senate record to correct the record and provide factual information regarding statements made on the Michigan Senate floor by Senator Joe Bellino on October 21st, 2025. His remarks mischaracterized and unfairly disparaged the No Kings Day event held in Monroe, Michigan on October 18th, 2025. A parade and event permit for No Kings Day was properly approved and issued by the Monroe Police Department through Lieutenant Therese Herrick and Chad J. Tolstedt, Director of Public Safety, on September 23, 2025, and further reviewed and approved by City Manager David L. Robinson on September 24, 2025. Participants remained on public sidewalks and used crosswalks as required. The event was coordinated in advance with law enforcement by ongoing communication concerning safety, construction areas, traffic patterns, and estimated attendance. Both uniformed and plainclothes officers were present throughout the event. Weeks prior to the event, Stronger Together Huddle and indivisible teams engaged in careful preparation to ensure a peaceful demonstration, emphasizing nonviolence and respect. Participants were explicitly instructed to avoid profanity, provocative signage, confrontation, or agitation, and to use song and chant as methods of peaceful expression and de-escalation if necessary. Contrary to Senator Bellino's claims, there were no shirts worn by nuns that said 8647. This can be verified by video evidence. To our knowledge, no such shirts were present at the event, nor were there any thinly veiled, disgusting calls of violence against the sitting President of the United States. These claims are demonstrably false and unsupported by any evidence. These provocative assertions, spoken on the Senate floor and subsequently circulated on social media, misrepresent the facts and harm the reputation of Monroe residents and community organizations committed to lawful, peaceful, and respectful civic participation. They also diminish the work of Monroe City officials and the police department, who ensured compliance with all applicable laws and maintained public safety throughout the event, including addressing a police report the night before the event involving the arrest of a Trenton man who had posted direct threats of violence against rally participants. Civic engagement is a cornerstone of democracy and should be encouraged, not undermined, by unfounded accusations. And we ask that this correspondence be entered into the Senate record to provide a full and accurate account of the Monroe No Kings Day event, where participants neither advocated nor engaged in violence. Respectfully submitted, Sharon McNeil, Monroe resident, IHM associate, lead organizer of Monroe No Kings event. And I just want to add personally, so that letter was written, our committee wrote the letter together with Sharon. Sharon submitted it. But just personally, I want to acknowledge that yesterday, the person Lee Trevino, who was arrested for the charge of plans to incite violence on people like me, Sharon, and other people who are sitting in this audience tonight, that person did not show up for court date. And I want you to just hold that image in your head and how we are feeling tonight, knowing that he is still at large. There is a warrant out for his arrest, but he has not been detained. Hold that image, and then hold the image that Bellino talked about on the Senate floor of nuns wearing 8647 shirts, which is demonstrably false. And instead, they were wearing red, white, and blue, right? And carrying signs that were pro-democracy signs. So you can be the judges of that. Thank you so much.
June Coyne Monroe. Thank you, commissioners, for your service and the opportunity to speak. You're getting the second string here. This is a letter that Sharon McNeil wrote. Many of us are here because we believe deeply in service to our county, our community, and our country. Many here do the same every day as educators, nurses, business owners, employees, law enforcement officers, social workers, and volunteers. That is why it matters when service is ignored, twisted, or replaced by political gamesmanship. When leaders abandon the basic duty to serve the people, instead reach for power, self-interest, or division, we have a responsibility to call it out. not as Democrats or Republicans, but as citizens who care about our community and our country. On October 18th, hundreds of Monroe citizens marched peacefully. We exercised our constitutional right because we believe the president is acting more like a king than a public servant. The march was peaceful and safe, with much credit given to Monroe City Police and the people who gathered there. Yet our local senator chose to publicly mischaracterize us as calling for violence. That is false. And when an elected official spreads falsehoods about peaceful citizens, it does real harm. It endangers people, it erodes trust, it undermines the very idea of public service, and it stops real dialogue in its tracks. As the lead organizer, I coordinated with the police before the march. An officer told me afterward how peaceful the march had been itself. Not a single participant was arrested. Monroe County is filled with people who serve every day. Our hope is that this board continues to lead with integrity, truth, and courage, not along party lines, but by the values of service that hold a community together. And it occurs to me that this is a good way to move forward, that perhaps an apology be offered to Ms. McNeil and the groups that participated in the October event. Thank you very much.
Mary Strevel, Monroe County. Thank you to all the commissioners for giving us time to speak and set the record straight. I am proud of being a member of Stronger Together Huddle, a group that advocates for the common good of all. I'm also proud to have served the community of Monroe for 31 years as a teacher at Monroe High School, and also as a trustee for over 10 years for the Monroe County Historical Commission, representing Berlin Township. I was part of the No Kings March on October 18th in Monroe that was attended by more than 600. At no time was there any violence advocated. In fact, it was the exact opposite. We had a permit and police were involved in the planning. What I'm not proud of is hearing that an elected official, Senator Joe Bellino, ranted on the floor of the Michigan Senate, berating our group, and I quote, "What did I see in Monroe? Shirts worn by nuns that said 8647, a thinly veiled, disgusting call of violence against the sitting president of the United States," unquote. Joe needs to be reminded of our forefathers in 1776 who didn't call for the death of King George, but were advocating against the tyrannical behavior. Maybe some of you were at the rally or happened to drive by and honk at the marchers. You didn't see anyone at the rally, much less nuns with that t-shirt. How do I know this? My husband was the safety marshal, and he and I walked the march together. At no time was there any threats of violence. Our group had a professional videographer tape the rally. There is no evidence of this. Yet Mr. Bellino went on the Senate floor and accused us of this. Let the record show that on October 18th, 2025, a peaceful march was held in Monroe, Michigan. Thank you.
Are there other citizens who wish to address the board?
Mr. Chairman, I have a letter that was from a citizen that they would like me to read into the record.
Yeah, and is this the letter from Mr. Brandt?
Yes.
I'm going to have Deputy Clerk Miles read that.
Oh, that would be fine.
Thank you. And we received a letter earlier this afternoon from Mark Brandt requesting that his letter be read into the record. So we'll have Deputy Clerk Grace Miles read it now.
Dear Chairman Benzel and fellow board members, I will not be speaking during public comment time this evening, but I would like to express my thoughts on a couple of important matters before the board. I would like this letter read into the record during the first public comment time, along with Judge Hunke's order dated September 12, 2025. I have attached the official court order issued by Chief Circuit Court Judge Carol Kunkney concerning her ruling about any vacancy on the District 2 seat. Please note specifically where she states that, and I quote, "The court is persuaded that Brandt's incarceration in federal prison commencing prior to January 1st, 2025, and continuing until July 2025, did not operate to vacate his position in any of the ways described in MCL 201.3. The judge clearly agrees that my seat was not vacated. The judge further states that she allows the election to proceed, but that, and I quote, the validity of the election and its results will turn on any appellate review of the court's decision herein. This quote alone from the judge's decision clearly says that the election has not been legally validated as of today and will not be validated unless and until the Court of Appeals reverses Judge Kunke's official order. The clear language and intent of the judge's order is that everything is on hold until the Court of Appeals makes a final determination. Allowing Mr. Benicki to have any official commissioner powers, responsibilities, or privileges is contrary to what the judge decided. In all fairness to myself and Mr. Benicki, it would be prudent to follow the judge's clear intent and not further complicate the matter by allowing someone who is not serving as a result of a valid election to be allowed to vote on matters of the county. Simply put, the election has not been declared to be a valid election, so there cannot be a valid winner unless the court decides, which as of this writing, they have not done. Additionally, it concerns me that you are proposing to appoint Betsy Levens to the library board. The fact that she is married to a sitting commissioner should be enough of a conflict to have her name removed from consideration. You may not be aware, but Kathy Calder is on the library board and heeds the Montessori school in Monroe. Betsy Levens is employed there. Rob Peven is on the library board and is also employed at the Montessori school. Henry Levens is a board trustee at the Montessori School and is a sitting county commissioner. Mike Grodi, a close personal friend of Commissioner Levens and close personal friend of Kathy Calder, head of the Montessori School, also sits on the library board. Do you not see the conflict here? You are considering stacking almost the entire library board around the Montessori School Board and employees. Surely there is someone else who applied for the library board that would not have the appearance of a conflict and nepotism. The road board appointment. I haven't looked at the packet to see who all applied, but I think it would be more open and transparent to interview the candidates in open session, which has been done in the past, again, for transparency and fairness to the applicants and the board members that were not involved in the selection process. These are 6-year terms and should be filled with proper vetting by the entire board. Please consider these comments while you make decisions in the best interest of all of the citizens in Monroe County. Sincerely, Mark Brandt.
Thank you. Any other citizens who wish to address the board? At this point, I'm going to ask Phil Goldsmith to come up and explain our position on the first portion of the letter written by Mr. Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I was asked to provide an opinion not too long ago regarding whether Mr. Benicki should be allowed to sit on the board this evening and act as a county commissioner. So I provided that opinion to several people, and I just wanted to review that with you. Commissioner Moore gave me a call today, and I'm glad he did, because we had a nice conversation, and I relayed my opinion to him and what it was based on. So he and I went over it, so I wanted the rest of you to have the opportunity to hear from me why I gave the opinion that I did. The a statement that Grace read into the record provided by Mark Brandt addressed Judge Kunke's order, and that was the first order entered in the litigation. And as you're aware, Monroe County filed suit against Mark, and then Mark filed suit against the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. Those cases were combined. Judge Kunke was assigned by the State Court Administrator's Office to hear the case. It was briefed. Oral argument was provided to her on 2 occasions, and she reached her decision, and that decision is embodied in a court order dated September 12th, 2025. So I'm going to go to the bottom of page 2 of Judge Kunke's order, and that's the first order that was entered in this litigation. And it states that it is further ordered that the declarative and injunctive relief granted by this order is stayed pending final resolution of these matters by the Court of Appeals or by further order of this court. No bond, because the county is entitled to an appeal of right which would, if successful, validate the upcoming election. It is the intention of this court to allow the November 4, 2025 special general election for the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, District 2, to proceed absent further order of this court or the Court of Appeals. The validity of that election and its results will turn on any appellate review of the court's decision herein. So Judge Conkey took it upon herself to stay the execution of her order, and specifically it was her intention to allow the November 4, 2025 general election to proceed. She also went on to say, furthermore, given the uncertainty of Brandt's status as a county commissioner, has resulted in conflict and uncertainty at meetings of the Board of Commissioners. This stay also operates to prohibit Brandt from participating as a county commissioner until the expiration until the expiration of the stay or further order of the Court of Appeals, whichever occurs first. So Judge Conkey, although she found in favor of Mark Brandt, as was recited in his letter read by Grace, she also stayed execution of that order, recognizing that there would be an appeal, and she actually encouraged an appeal, and recognizing that the election should be allowed to go forward. That was her order. Fast forward, only by a few days, Mark Brandt's lawyers filed an appeal with the Michigan Court of Appeals. The county also followed that with an appeal to the Michigan Court of Appeals. But when Mr. Brandt's lawyers filed their appeal, they also filed a motion for immediate consideration because they wanted, and actually I welcome this, they wanted the Court of Appeals to determine whether the stay that was entered by Judge Conkey should be continued or whether it should be lifted. Now, if it was lifted, the stay as it pertained to Mark Brandt sitting as a county commissioner, he would have been able to come and participate as a county commissioner. The second part of that is the attorneys for Mr. Brandt wanted the Court of Appeals to direct Monroe County to cancel the November 4th election. So the Court of Appeals acted immediately on that. I think the motion was filed around 11 o'clock. I got a call from the Court of Appeals at noon stating, we want your reply to this motion by 8 a.m. tomorrow. And so I asked them until 10 a.m. and they granted that request and we filed our response. But this is what the Court of Appeals did. They granted the motion for immediate consideration. In other words, they wanted to address the motion filed by Mark Brandt's lawyers, and I was glad they did. Then they went on to order as follows: the emergency motion to lift stay is denied without prejudice, meaning that Mark Brandt's lawyer's request was denied to lift the stay, which would have allowed, if the stay was lifted, he would have been allowed to sit here as a commissioner. The Court of Appeals went on to state the motion asks not only to vacate the stay ordered below, but also to enter an order enjoining Monroe County and the board from proceeding with the November 4, 2025 special general election for District 2 County Commissioner. And then they cite a court rule. They go on to state that given that the ballots for the disputed election have evidently already been printed and that the absentee ballots must be mailed immediately, and they cite another statute, election law statute, we believe it would be imprudent to grant relief intertwined with the merits of the issues raised here without the benefit of the full record and a plenary review. So the Court of Appeals acted, and they acted swiftly. They denied the motion to lift the stay, and they denied the motion to cancel the election. So the election went forward as ordered or as intended by Judge Conkey. The election went forward, and we all know what happened with the election. Dale Banicki was elected in that special election to serve as county commissioner for District 2. So our county clerk, Anna Marie Osmond, followed the law, to the T, 14 days after the election, and she went through the process with the Board of Canvassers, followed the law to the T. She certified the election results on the 14th day. We were all hoping that the Court of Appeals might give us a decision within that time frame. However, they did not, and they still haven't. So the election occurred. Mr. Benicki won the election. The election results were certified. Then Dale Benicki made arrangements to be sworn in, and he took the oath of office administered by Judge Michael Brown, or one of our district court judges here in Monroe County. The oath of office, the form was then filed with the clerk's office, and so he was elected. He took the oath of office. It was filed with the clerk. Given the fact that Mark Brandt's lawyers took swift action on behalf of their client and got it in front of the Court of Appeals, but given the fact that the Court of Appeals chose not to lift the stay and chose to allow the election to go forward, the election went forward. Mr. Benicki was elected. The election results were certified. He was sworn in. I have taken the position that he is allowed to sit here and to vote. Now that, my opinion, has been questioned, and I've been asked, well, what if the Court of Appeals issues a decision and restores Mark Brandt to the District 2 seat? So my position is simply this. Because the Court of Appeals allowed the election to go forward, when they had every opportunity to cancel that election or direct Monroe County or the clerk to cancel that election, and the election results are in, any action taken by Mr. Benicki as he sits on this board pending the decision by the Court of Appeals is valid. It's a valid action, and we'll stand behind what the Court of Appeals directed in their orders. If the order was different, we would be taking a different tact. If I had been notified at 4 p.m. today that the Court of Appeals made a decision, and let's say, for instance, that decision favored Mr. Brandt, then he wouldn't be sitting there. I would give a different opinion. But until the Court of Appeals issues its decision, they've allowed a process to occur, and we're going to follow that process. That's my advice, that we will follow that process. Can answer any questions, but now you know how I arrived at the opinion that I arrived at.
I just had a few questions. That original opinion that you sent about seating Dale, who was that sent to? What commissioners was that sent to?
The court opinion?
The opinion on being able to seat Mr. Benicki that you mentioned earlier in when you started.
My
here.
opinion?
Yeah.
I was not asked to provide a written opinion. People asked me, can Dale Benicki sit and will he be allowed to vote? And I told them exactly what I told you today and how I arrived at that. I was not asked to give a written opinion. That's the opinion that I arrived at.
Yeah.
Many people asked that, just as you asked me that.
Yeah, today, when I found out that Dale was sitting, I didn't really know that this was going on. That's what I'm saying. Who asked that? Who asked that of you, and when did they ask that?
I think just recently, and here's why, Greg, because everybody's waiting for the Court of Appeals decision, thinking it's going to arrive any day. And so here we are. We're on the 9th of December, no opinion. So that's when I gave the opinion, and I just explained why. So I think I meant, our chairman was gone on vacation for a prolonged vacation. I mentioned it to him just recently, told him this is my opinion. My partner Tom Graham and I had many discussions about it. So it wasn't an opinion that was in written form that was issued to everyone. So
Okay.
it's right on the cusp of this meeting because we still don't have a final decision from the court.
So generally speaking, when a new commissioner takes office, it's usually the first meeting in January. I was sworn in on January 3rd, 2016 by the judge, and then we took office on Tuesday, that January 5th. Is there a reason why we have him sitting now when we could still give the appeals court 2 to 3 weeks to figure this out?
Yes, there is a reason, and that reason is this was a special election to fill the District 2 position. So when you have, when you have a vacancy in office, and I know that's in dispute and that's in the lap of the Court of Appeals, but when you have a vacancy in office and there's a special election, as soon as the Board of Canvassers completes their work and the clerk certifies the election results, then that person steps in at that point. If this was a regular general election in November, you're right, that person or the whole board would take office then in January.
And then just one last question, because my real concern is having a judgment saying that the seat hasn't been vacated by Mark pending the appeal. And then we do have Dale here, who I've known a long time, and he's a friend, and I like him very much as a person. My only concern for Monroe County is the liability. If we have him voting on the budget and on appointments and all these issues, are you concerned about the liability of all that if, let's say, in a week or 2 or 3 weeks, appeal court comes back and goes, sorry, Dale, no, it's Mark actually. We're upholding the judgment. Is his vote invalidated? Do we have a valid budget that we passed, constitutionally mandated, when someone was up here voting when they weren't a commissioner? Or have you looked into that, and do you have any concerns about that?
I am not concerned, and here's why.
Okay.
You know, lawyers are always concerned about things that might
You're very
happen.
concerned type of people.
Yeah, no, and we wake up at 3 a.m. thinking about this stuff, so we're always concerned about that because we want the best for the county, and we want to protect the county. We want to protect our leaders of the county. But here's why I'm not overly concerned. I'm following the orders entered by the Court of Appeals. The judge it intended the election to go forward, number one. Secondly, the Court of Appeals had every opportunity on a motion filed by Mr. Brandt's lawyers to cancel the election and to lift the stay, and they chose not to. And so that put us in a unique position, and that unique position is the election went forward, and Mr. Benecke was elected. So I'm not concerned, because if anyone raises that issue, I'm going to say we followed the orders of the Court of Appeals. We were waiting for the Court of Appeals to make its decision. The Court of Appeals was very specific. They accelerated this case. They required us to submit briefs with a very short period of time, and then reply briefs. Then they asked for additional briefing, which we did. Then they said, in addition to that, it's normal on an appeal of right to have oral argument in front of a 3-judge panel in Detroit at the Court of Appeals. They said, we're dispensing with oral argument. We're going to decide this case on the briefs submitted by the parties. And so we wait. But I'm not overly concerned because the court allowed it, and so here we are. It's a unique situation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Mr. Goldsmith? Yes, Commissioner Asper.
Unfortunately, I see a lot of real inconsistencies in the way this has been handled. And by saying that, first of all, when Mr. Brandt came up and sat on the dais, our chairman actually agreed to allow him to stay on the dais. He promised not to speak, and he promised not to vote. That was the end of our meeting. Then we find out that you brought this injunction thing, which we never voted on. We never voted on that because there was an agreement on the dais. You can go back to the videos that Mark could sit here until the decision was made, and he was not going to vote. One of the points that was made to the court, however, was like we were afraid that he would vote, and that would be a problem if this came out a different way. The other thing is, when it got time that he couldn't sit here before it was going to be decided, when we were wanting the ballots, not to be printed. Now you're saying that it's okay to have somebody on here, and you kind of, I have to say, you kind of glided over one of the comments that had to be, let's see if I can find it. Maybe this is it. That it would run on according to the appellate decision. So any election would fall to what happens with that appeal. So in other words, whether or not he is our commissioner or not in District 2 depends on that appeal. But you don't seem to have a problem with somebody voting who may not end up being our commissioner. So I just see that inconsistency. Once again, we're friends. You know, all these people are friends of mine, but I don't want to get us in the mess again that we've been in for almost a year now because these commissioners were unwilling to follow your first instructions of your letter in January, which was to go to a court of competence and get this decided. Sorry, I may not be using the right legal terms, but that was your recommendation back in January was to do that. So what keeps flipping back is, you know, oh no, we can't have him on there because he might vote when he promised not to, and no one on the Board of Commissioners said, no, he can't be here, or should we vote on this that he can't be here, or anything like that. But yet this went forward without us even authorizing that, and arguing that he might vote and that that was the big danger about it. So we don't want to be, once again, in a situation where somebody's vote has to be questioned because they weren't the legitimate commissioner. So I don't see why those things don't apply to both people who may be in that seat as a result of a court of appeals. Because they haven't made the decision, and they said that it would ride on that appeal, on the action of that appeal. That it wouldn't ride on the results of the election. It would definitely be decided according to the appeal. So I am not a legal person, but I just try to figure this out with critical thinking, and there do seem to be some inconsistencies in how we've handled this.
Any other comments or questions for Mr. Goldsmith? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Brandt?
Mark Brandt. I wanted to talk about something that Dawn brought up. This is the court order. This is Judge Kunke, Chief Judge for Lenawee County. This is her order. Nothing that Phil says changes this order. It's further ordered that the declarative and injunctive relief granted by this order is stayed. I get that. Pending the final resolution of these matters by the Court of Appeals or by further order of this court, no bond. Because the county is entitled to an appeal of right, which would, if successful, validate the upcoming election, it is the intention of this court to allow the November 5th special election for Monroe County Board of Commissioners, District 2, to proceed absent further order of this court. There's been no further order of this court or the Court of Appeals. The validity of that election and its results will turn on any appellate review of the court's decision. The election is not valid until and unless the Court of Appeals says that it is. In spite of anything that Phil said, the judge said, this election, I'm going to let it go forward, but it's not valid until the Court of Appeals says that it's valid, period. I don't see where that's hard to understand or hard to interpret, no matter how much legalese you put on it. The judge said it's not valid until the Court of Appeals decides whether it's valid or not. So Dale, and again, Dale's a friend of mine. He's a friend of everybody. He's a friendly guy. I don't have anything against Dale. Shouldn't be sitting in that seat because the court said the election is not valid until the Court of Appeals says that it is. I think it's as simple as that.
Any other citizens who wish to address the board during this first segment of public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. We have no resolution, special tributes, and presentation. At this point, I'd ask for a motion to move into closed session to discuss negotiations.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Moore, supported by Commissioner Heinzling. Any questions or comments on this
Yeah,
motion?
question, are we going to stay here, or are we going back into the, our
We'll
chambers?
go back.
Okay.
because
So
we don't
the
need
audience
any-
can stay where they're at.
Yes. Okay, Commissioner Asper.
I would just like to mention also that going forward, I really believe it's unfair to the people who come here and take their time to be at these meetings, to put these closed sessions at the beginning, especially since we don't have Sarah here to be, I realize there was a timing situation with her perhaps, but I just really feel like this, it's not right to ask our citizens to come and then to go sit here and wait for us, never knowing how long it's going to be before they come back and actually we go through the actual agenda items for the rest of the meeting. So I'm just recommending that as we go forward.
And in fairness to our constituents that are out in the audience, if we place it at the end of the meeting and then we come back, they're under the impression that we're not going to take any new action. We can never, in most cases, cannot guarantee that coming out of closed session. So it makes more sense, especially on something like this, where we may take action based on what goes on in closed session, to have it at the beginning of the meeting. Believe me, although if we do it the other way, we're shutting the public out with potential action we take after we return from closed session.
Most of these items have nothing, not of any interest to what they're interested in.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki?
Yes.
Commissioner Asper?
No.
Commissioner Heinzerling?
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore?
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel?
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
No.
Commissioner Levens?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We need some time. I've got to get some medication.
Okay, I believe we now need a motion to go back into open session.
Motion to go back into open session.
Second.
Moved by Lamore, supported by Heinzerling. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We'll now move into finance matters. Item number 1, confirmation of the November 19, 2025 accounts payable current claims report in the amount of $1,629,761.48. Could I get a motion, please?
I have a question first.
After the motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve it, but pull any money that we'll be discussing at the next meeting for the investigation.
He just needs a second so we can discuss.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. Then you discuss.
Moved by Commissioner Swartout to define the motion that no money be allotted to the independent investigation until the next meeting.
Right, after we get done going through it.
Is it on there?
I don't know, because I didn't see a copy.
I didn't think it was on there, but
Okay,
These are payments that are confirmed.
okay.
Right. Just informationally, these are confirmation of payments that have already been made. However, there have been no additional payments made to Bodman because the current invoices exceed the amount approved by the board, so those are on
Okay.
hold for additional discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sue.
Does that help? You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
thank
Okay.
you. So we can just have a normal motion
Right,
on this?
Motion to pay bills.
Okay, so
yeah.
moved by Commissioner Swartout, supported by Commissioner Lamore.
Sure.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 2, confirmation of the December 3rd, 2025 accounts payable current claims report in the amount of $973,894.81. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Lamore, supported by Huffman. Are there any questions on this motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 3, revenues, expenditures, and cash balance report for the fourth quarter ending November 30, 2025. Mr. Pasonic?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, Sue and I have not done a complete detailed dive of everything. We're in the process of that as we move towards year end and got a few other things, wrapping up the budget and those kinds of things. But, on the expenditure side, that's what we look at. And where we're at today is anything that has exceeded 91.67%. And again, we look at the totals of the cost centers. There's only a few that are of any concern. Most of them are well within the appropriation that was provided to them. We'll have a better understanding of this sometime later this week or even Monday and be prepared to ask the board, if necessary, to make any final budget amendments. And we always do that at the last meeting of the year. And when we thought, well, we may be able to get this. We're not there yet. But from our standpoint, we don't see any concerns. We see the big revenue numbers are coming in. We're going to hit our targets on the revenue numbers. And if we're underneath our expenditures, that's the winning formula. Over-collect on your budgeted revenues and underspend on what's appropriated, and you'll end up with positive operating results. So we don't see anything that's a real concern at this point, but we've got a couple more days to push through all of the cost centers across the organization. But that's where we're at.
Thank you. We'll now move into the consent agenda. Item 1, approval of non-claims. Letter A, check register dated November 14, 2025, in the amount of $986,143.61. Letter B, check register dated November 21st, 2025, in the amount of $1,372,918.79. Letter C, check register dated November 26th, 2025, in the amount of $552,339.81. Could I get a motion?
Make the motion.
Support.
Moved by Heinzerling, supported by Swartout. Any questions on this motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now, moving into communications, number one, letter dated October 13, 2025, from the Honorable Cheryl Lohmeyer, Chief Probate Judge, requesting the addition of 2 court recorder positions at the estimated cost of $159,710 for 2026. Could I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved by Levin, supported by Heinzerling. Are there questions on this motion?
If I could, briefly from the committee, this brings the probate court in parity with the circuit courts. It promotes the efficiencies of the court, the rollout of services to constituents to prevent, backlog inefficiencies and the rest. And I see that the CFO has additional comments as well.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, if the motion could be made that this, instead of the additional general fund contribution in 2026, just clarify that this would come out of the contingency. We would then transfer money in the 2026 contingency account into the probate court for these positions. It's the same effect. It's the general fund, but for our purposes, when auditors look at this, we want to make sure that we've got a good record and we're following that this was the official action rather than just general fund expenditures. So, because we're done with the budget, the recommended budget is going to be on your agenda shortly. So this would just be through the contingency in 2026. And there's $635,000 budgeted in the 2026 contingency account, so sufficient to handle this. And I would suggest that as you move through, it would be communications 1 and 2. Where was the one from the county clerk?
That's 5.
And 5. But you just add that into your motion.
And I accept that contingency condition of the motion.
Yep.
Okay, we're good. Any additional questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
No.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
No.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Where are we at now?
So this is number 2. This is the request from the Chief Probate Court. Items 1 for 5 were addressed in the Operations Committee prior to the agenda meeting to this regular meeting. And this was a request for an ESS supervisor position with an estimated cost of $24,253 for the 2026 budget. So I would offer the motion for this of the contingency account with just a brief further explanation for the benefit of the members, that this is a program that's mainly funded through a grant program officiated by the probate court that essentially is an embedded juvenile diversion program that assists youths, keeping them, for lack of a better term, on the better versus wrong track in the schools where it has the biggest impact, if you will.
I'll second that. That's the motion.
Okay, moved by Levin, supported by Hoffman. Any additional questions or comments? Commissioner Asper?
So this is going to be just from a grant? Is this something, so are we making this a permanent position based on grant money? Or I didn't understand exactly what Commissioner Levens mentioned.
Okay.
Okay, that would be good.
Good evening, Commissioners. Melissa Strong, Probate Court Administrator. This position is a unique position in that it is funded by the Child Care Fund mostly. 75% of all the positions at the youth center, all the positions within this program, this diversion program, ESS, are all funded by the Child Care Fund grant at 75% for community-based programs, which is why we're before this board this evening to request this position as we're expanding our community-based footprint in Monroe and hope to just continue to expand that footprint. But so we have a secondary campus for the ESS program. In fact, the ESS folks are here with me tonight. And the secondary program is embedded at Wagger Middle School right now. And when we spoke at the operations meeting last week, we hope to just continue to be able to move that program out into the other schools. But it's in Bedford for sure. So does that answer your question?
Yes, I was just wanting, I just get nervous about putting permanent people in and then not having the grant money to do it, and then you're letting this person go or whatever. So I just wanted
The Child Care Fund has existed for 50 years. It's not going anywhere. In fact, they're expanding it. So it is a grant in its technical term, but it's not a grant like a normal grant that can expire.
Thank you.
Like it's almost a cost-sharing formula with Child Care Fund.
Correct.
And I just think it's good for the people in the audience because they don't always come to these meetings. So
Right.
It's important for them to understand that too. So
We'd be happy to have anybody come take a look at the ESS program. We're very, very proud of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moore,
No.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Sure. The next is a request from Chief Judge Brown, First District Court, requesting approval for funding of $77,286 to cover the court's shortfall rather for the electronic monitoring of defendants. So I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moved by Levens, supported by Heinzerling. Are there questions on the motion? Commissioner Asper.
That's a lot of money shortfall. How did that come about? Was it just a lot more than last year, or how did we end up with that much of a shortfall in the budget for that? And the coming up budget do we have that covered or whatever in the next budget? I just think that's a lot of money to be off.
And while folks from the district court approach, I mean, part of the electronic monitoring is to, keep
No,
people
I
abreast
understand what it's
so we don't have
for.
jail crowding, but anyhow.
Right, and they don't pay for their own, nobody pays for their own, right? Like a $10 a day thing or anything, nobody that gets these is responsible to pay for any of it?
Some people do pay for the program when they can't afford it, they do. Some, majority of them are on the program. It's a requirement for them to be out of jail, and somebody who's financially unable to pay for it is punitive to keep them in jail.
And we want them to have a job.
Correct.
I get that.
Correct. And your question was?
It's really how that is quite a bit of money. Like, did we have a lot more people on them than we thought we would? And have we already made corrections for next year? We just don't want to keep this going.
So the answer is that the budget, I believe, is the same next year as it is for this year.
And let me chime in. So you can blame me for it. It's just one method.
I don't want to blame anybody. I just want things to go well.
It's not the courts. They didn't do anything wrong. I don't think anybody did anything wrong. We're just seeing a lot more use of tether, and that's good because that frees up bed space in the jail for other people, who should be in jail. and to the other points that have already been made, allows people to maintain their employment, be there to supervise their family, provide leadership in their family, notwithstanding whatever they did wrong. So expanded use of tether is fine, and people have challenge paying for it, so that's okay. So the numbers are up. We've just simply budgeted, and this is okay for them to come in. We're not saying Jessica or anybody or Stephanie and their
Don't
team
take
did
this
anything
personally.
wrong. It's just, come on in. If you exceed that with the programming and the numbers, that's why we have a contingency account. From my
Ms.
standpoint
Sonic,
as
if
a
you do
budget
the-
manager and
Okay, so
and a
it's
separate
best-
branch of government, when you appropriate the money, it's their money, and I would rather
Right.
that the board
Good
be in the
point.
position of the appropriator, come back and ask for more money.
Point well
Now, we're not
taken.
holding anybody over the barrel. It's just a budgeting technique. Oftentimes, you'll see this with the medical examiner's office too. So let's just keep it.
Sure.
If you run high, come see us. If you run low, okay. So it's
No, no,
fine.
that's-
We support this. And I would just suggest, Mr. Chairman, we have funds in the 2025 contingency account. We need to balance this and this year. So if your motion would be to appropriate these funds from the contingency account, we'll move it from the contingency account into the district court budget. Same thing in the circuit court when that matter comes up next.
Thank you.
And it is
Thank you.
much cheaper than somebody being in jail.
No,
We'll throw
I'm
that
not
out.
arguing with the program. I
It
just
is
want to make
saving
sure
money
our
overall.
monetary situation is handled properly. And no, I think it's very good to have people be able to keep their jobs and move forward. That's a very important thing. So I wasn't arguing about that, just making sure the funding was proper. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And so the next one is the equivalent for now, the circuit court in the amount of $23,464. And again, if Mr. Basanic had a better crystal ball, we would know the exact amount, but we meet every other Tuesday, so here we are. So I make the motion from the contingency.
I'll second that.
Moved by Heinzelling, supported by Huffman. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Last item, Mr. Chairman, from the Operations Advisory meeting of last week is a request from our county clerk. This is a bittersweet request. The long time, almost an institution in Monroe County, and the mailing clerk, Greg Whitcup, has retired. This has opened up an opportunity to allow kind of an expansion, if you will, of that position for a little bit more responsibility and stuff. So we'll maintain the same position, but add some reclassification to expand the filing duties and the rest. It's a small sum that the clerk is asking in the amount of $2,985 from the contingency of the 2026 budget. So I offer that motion accordingly.
So moved.
Moved by Levens, supported by Lamore. Are there questions? Excuse me, moved by Lamore. Do we have support? Supported by Heinzerling. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now, item number 6, letter dated November 17, 2025, from Ms. Jamie Dean, Health Director, requesting approval to apply for and accept the local health department staff well-being grant in the amount of $4,000 from the Michigan Association of Local Public Health. There are no matching funds required. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved by Lamore, supported by Asper. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 7, letter dated December 9, 2025, from Mr. Jason Berry, Community Planning and Engagement Director, requesting acceptance of the Office of Land Survey and Remonumentation grant funding for up to $61,647 during the grant period of January 1, 2026 to December 31, 2026, and approval to submit the final application to receive these funds. There is no county match required.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved by Lamore, supported by Huffman. Are there any questions on this motion? Commissioner
I have one
Huffman.
question. They're going to just reset they just recheck them. The monuments, all the monuments. I mean, we got county monuments in the middle of the road here and there. So this grant is to go out and strictly re-look at them? Is that how it's going to be used?
I'm going to have Mr. Berry address this.
Good evening, Commissioners. If I heard you correctly, that's correct. It is to reestablish, inspect them, make any necessary repairs, and move us forward into a maintenance phase in the future.
So will they actually physically be moving some of them?
Well, if they need it, yes, they may, but their first job is to do research on it and then review it. And a lot of them can get damaged just from the elements. You know, people could run over them, and so it's to make sure that they're still there, they're still accessible to surveyors, to establish boundaries and property lines and so forth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Heinzerling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Bednicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Where are we here?
Number 7 or 8. Yep. Use the middle of your mouse a little faster.
Okay, now for appointments, reappointments of Monroe County Board and Commission members. I'll read my nominations, and we'll take it as one motion, I'm assuming, for the boards. For the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Panel, Florence Buchanan and Robert Gothrop. For the Emergency Medical Authority, R.J. Shaw, Brian Paulez, Misty Green, Bruce Crawl, and James Bennett. For the Library Board, Betsy Levens. For the Parks and Recreation Board, Mark Spinoso, Larry Benoit Shinova. For the Social Services Board, Rebecca Curley. These are my nominations for these boards. Could we get a motion, please?
Make the motion.
I'll second that.
Moved by Heinzerling, supported by Hoffman. Are there any questions or comments or concerns on the motion? Commissioner Asper.
Yes, just in going back to what our goals have been for these appointments, that we be able to include as many among the community and bring in the talents of the community as possible. And I do think something was mentioned earlier that I do believe has, you know, we talk about our code of ethics, sort of a nepotism flavor. And in looking at the library board appointments, especially with respect to how many people that are already on that library board that are connected with one institution, I just feel that we need to have that more diversified. And I would really like to have the board consider Amanda Gregory. I read all of her information, and I also read her letter. And I thought it was kind of cute that even her email address is bookworm@gmail. But it just seems like she's had a lifelong interest in the library, and she has not served on one of our boards before. And I just really would like for us to consider people who are in the community who have not been able to bring their talent to serve in the community. She actually teaches at the community college and teaches some law classes and things like that. But I have her letter here that I would like to read in case the commissioners, since we had 189 pages in our packet, they might not have been able to read what she wrote. So in supporting her, I would like to offer this letter. Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to consider my qualifications to serve on the Monroe County Library System's Library Board. Libraries have always been a very important part of my life and of the community that holds special significance for me. I spent countless hours in the Sand Lake Public Library, part of the Kent County Library System, as a child and started volunteering in that library as soon as I was old enough. I went on to work at the Newcomb Archives and Borhoff Library at Tulane University during my undergraduate education until I transferred to Purdue, where I finished my degree and spent my contented hours researching in the Hicks Undergraduate Library. I went on to work in the Mendick Library while I attended New York Law School, and today I'm lucky enough to live within walking distance of both the Dorsch Memorial Branch Library and the Ellis Navarre Branch Library, the improvements to which I get the pleasure of watching nearly every day. I'm also responsible for complying with the ABA's library requirements for the paralegal program at MCCC and have the pleasure of engaging regularly with the One Book, One Community group here on campus. I do not offer this list of libraries in an effort to say my time in them somehow automatically qualifies me to serve on the MCLS Library Board, but rather to illustrate the deep and lifelong connection I have to libraries as places of learning, inclusion, and community. Throughout my education and career, libraries have represented more than collections of books and resources. They've been centers of opportunity, equity, and civic engagement. I would be honored to contribute to the Monroe County Library System's ongoing mission to provide open access to information and resources for all members of our community. I believe my professional experience, commitment to public service, and understanding of governance and policy development would allow me to support the library system's strategic goals while upholding its core values of accessibility, literacy, and community enrichment. Serving on the library board would be a meaningful way to give back to an institution that has shaped so much of my life and to help ensure that Monroe County's libraries continue to thrive as accessible, innovative spaces for future generations. I look forward to speaking with you as this process moves forward. Thank you once again for taking the time to consider me for this role. Sincerely, Amanda Gregory, bookworm@gmail.com. So I just respectfully submit that as a possibility.
Thank you. Other additional comments or questions?
Would you consider us voting on these individually instead of as a group? Okay, or no?
I don't, this is what I was told how it's normally done on the agenda, so.
I'm just, after the last year we've had with transparency and investigations and all those things, I can't believe that your nomination is going to be the wife of a county commissioner. I mean, 2.5 years ago, I was in a conversation with another commissioner and the gentleman that is not allowed to be on the dais, and he was the chairman at the time, and someone suggested my wife run, and he said, I don't think that would be the greatest look to put your wife on as a county commissioner. Now, that's the guy who's been in prison, I'm just saying. And what we're doing tonight, nothing against Betsy, but a clear conflict of stacking that board with people you're related to or married to. And I would be against that one. I'm not against the other ones that you've nominated. Just puts me in a tough position because I'm going to have to vote no on the other ones too.
So if you're married to an elected official, you're automatically disqualified from serving your community. Is that what you're telling me, Commissioner Moore?
I would say it's definitely conflict of interest, yes.
Okay. Well, I think it's up to the full board to decide. So are there any other comments? Commissioner Asper.
Yes, just that earlier this year, I put forth a code of ethics, and we did approve that. And I really do believe that throughout boards everywhere, that it's not even just the nepotism sort of part of it, but it's, as the Bible would say, the appearance of evil. And it's not evil. I don't like, once again, I like Betsy. That's not it. It's just that our goals for this board over the last few years have been to involve more and more of the talents in our community. And I just think that the library board should be more diverse. It should not be, kind of clustering around one institution. I have nothing against Montessori schools either. I like their program. But it's just, I think we are getting a little bit too good old boyish in our way of doing this. So please don't take offense. It's just that I think that it has a bad look.
I guess what skills did you like about Betsy over, say, an Amanda Gregory, who's an attorney and a professor?
No, this isn't the forum for that. Listen, if you want to make additional comments or if you have valid questions,
I do.
go for it.
You made a nomination to a board, and I'm asking what your reasoning was for that nomination.
I think she's a high-quality candidate. She has a fine arts degree. She's very much associated with the library. She's an educator. She's a teacher. I can go on and on and on. So, all right, so if you're trying to front somebody out by your line of questioning, I would ask you to respectfully stop it.
I want to know what your
I just
reasoning
told
was.
you.
Yeah, and I
Chair
can.
has
I don't know
that
why you're
authority,
getting
Craig.
upset on a simple question in front of the
I
public.
would like to call
Whatever.
the question, please.
Me too.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
No.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
No.
Commissioner Heinzerling.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to the appointment of a Monroe County Road Commission board member. I have chosen not to make a nomination, so it'll be up to the board to nominate a candidate that they think is worthy. Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes, I'd like to nominate, this will be first time on a board for the county, I believe. His name is Dave Kibitz. He's an engineer, he has an engineering firm, and he's an outstanding person when it comes to building roads.
I second that.
So I
Move,
offer him as a nomination.
moved by Hoffman, supported by Lamore. Are there additional nominations? Commissioner Swartout?
Yeah, Andrew, if I say his last name right, Dobrinsky, when I did my research, he was the only candidate that actually went to meetings and asked questions to have an idea how the road commission works.
Mr. Graham, I'm going to defer to you. Do we need support for these different nominations, or can they?
The board collectively has the right to make a nomination. It isn't like when we're electing a chairman where each commissioner can make a nomination. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's the board acting collectively, which we have I guess there's a motion and a second on a certain person. And now, at this point, when we're discussing it, maybe we could talk somebody into a change. But it has to be collectively to make the nomination, if that makes any sense to everybody.
So our first vote has to be that the board is going to make a decision to collectively nominate.
Nominate somebody, that's right.
Okay, so
Once nominated, then they can make a motion to approve the nomination.
could I get a motion to have the?
Well,
We
there
have
is
a
a
motion on
We
the
have
floor.
it. Okay, so now we'll call for the vote on that. That the board's going to do this collectively. Is that correct?
Yep. Well, the vote was to nominate Kibitsky, and there was a second, and then there was discussion, and now there would be a vote, a roll call vote to either approve or turn down that nomination.
Okay.
And then after that is concluded, if it fails, then somebody can make another. you know.
Okay, very good. So we have additional questions. Commissioner Asper?
Yeah, I think we're still in discussion. See, this is kind of the problem because we thought that you were making a nomination. So I'm glad that these other gentlemen also, looked at the information we have. But in prior years, we usually would actually interview these people because people can look wonderful on paper or whatever, but we like to be able to interview them. So just going forward, once again, I'm just saying going forward, I would really like for this board to be able to have that ability again to actually interview people before we, because it's an interesting point that Commissioner Swartout brought out. I had also been leaning toward David Kapinski because of being an engineer, but it's going to be kind of difficult to discuss them to make a recommendation. So we're going to have to vote down one and then another one we vote. I mean, I don't, this is kind of awkward. This whole thing is kind of awkward because we kind of have to reject one person to say that the other is going to be the commissioner's recommendation. I mean, we haven't been able to talk among
It's
ourselves
not going to be the
about it.
commissioner's recommendation.
I'll call the question.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that's what,
No, he's declined to make a nomination. He's not making any nomination.
right, but two different commissioners have brought up a nomination. And so we haven't collaboratively talked about what our collective nomination would be. At least that's what I understand from Mr. Graham,
I understand.
that it has to be a collective recommendation.
But the way that the board acts is by a motion, a second, and a vote.
So, Mr. Chairman.
But
there
we
was a-
haven't come to a conclusion about who we collectively want to nominate, right?
Well, we may never collectively come to that until we have a vote.
Yeah, it's just not being done like
We
it was in the
have
past.
A motion and support for Dave Kubisky, so I'll call the question.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
No.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling. No. Commissioner Lamore.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now, we do have to make a motion to make the appointment, because that was just a nomination.
I'll make a motion to make the appointment of Dave Kubisky for the next 2026 to its termination for the Monroe County Road Commission.
I'll second that.
Moved by Levin, supported by Huffman. Any questions? Commissioner Asper?
I would just once again say that I believe that we should consider doing this a different way next time. I just really feel like when you make an appointment for 6 years, I just think we should know these candidates better and that there should have been a little more of a lead up and interviews and possibly because the other gentleman that you mentioned, Commissioner Swartout, he sounds like, I mean, I would have liked to have considered some things that these commissioners knew personally about these candidates.
Right. I agree, Commissioner Asper, and I do know from prior knowledge that it's been done multiple ways. And it wasn't that long ago where it was an elected position. So there have been years when it's just been a straight out appointment and other years where there's been an interview process. And so I'm not opposed to that. So we can move forward with that.
But before he leaves really quickly, too, I just do like to recognize Rick Steiner, who's a former township trustee, and who's done a lot of good in Bedford Township, and I wish I could have seen him publicly interview as well. Have a good night, Rick.
Commissioner Hoffman?
I'm gonna say, we're in good hands to be blessed to have two. And we got the other one sitting right out here in the audience right now, as on the board member, as road commissioners. We're gonna have two engineers. It's outstanding.
Right.
This guy's outstanding. He comes with qualifications that's high as high,
Okay.
And I know when Mr. Noe got on, it was the same thing. He come with high qualifications and he outshot everybody else, so that's how he ended up in his office he's in. And he's doing a heck of a good job.
Wonderful.
This is just gonna tighten the ship a little tighter for us over there. I mean, the guys are doing a good job over there for us. You see the road commission, you see they're out there salting, they're out there doing their job, and they're making good roads, they're doing a good job. 10 years back, we had such a mess, we didn't know which way we were going. So I think we're in good hands. I know we are, and we're gonna be in better hands with Dave on board. Might be a little rough and a little bit to begin with, but it'll work out. It's gonna work out. Thank you, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Graham?
Usually when I talk, it's probably, not needed, but it is for an unexpired term. We know that, right? I mean, it's not appointing for some full 6-year term. It's the remainder of the unexpired term.
Just the
Okay.
motion should reflect that it's clear that it's for the unexpired term. That was great.
Unexpired term.
Okay, we're good. All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Lamore,
Yes.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
No.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinzerling. Motion carries.
Moving into public hearings, consideration of the recommended 2026-27 County of Monroe Annual Line Item Budget Resolution. Could I get a motion on this, please?
Make that motion.
Moved by Huffman,
Support.
supported by Moore. Now we'll turn it over to Mr. Bosanic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I'll be kind of brief, but it is an important evening when we consider the budget as part of your public hearing. So as part of the public hearing, we've prepared a short summary overview of the recommended budget. Much of the information that I'm going to go over with you, we've covered in prior presentations, but because it is the public hearing, we want to make sure that we're doing this for the board as well as members of the public who want to know what's in the budget. So I'm going to present kind of a summary overview as my responsibility as the Chief Administrative Officer of the organization required to develop and submit a recommended budget. Now, I will tell you that while I'm presenting the recommended budget, it's been a collaborative effort, as it is every year, with our elected officials in our various departments, managers in the various departments, and our finance team. So there are 6 points of information to review this evening. I'm going to cover these generally in 3 parts. The first part is confirm that everything is in order. We've done everything to comply with the legal requirements for this hearing and for you to adopt the budget. The second part is to give some really high-level outline of what's in the general fund budget and look at some of the trends and the underlying information that's driving our budget year over year. And the third part is just look briefly ahead to the 2027 budget. So part of the legal framework in Michigan finance is that we follow Public Act 2, which is a Uniform Budgeting and Accounting Act. Under the act, the chief administrative officer of any public organization is required to develop and present a recommended budget. We have done that. The recommended budget must be balanced. You have a recommended budget that is balanced. Prior to this evening, the recommended budget had to be available for the public to review. The recommended budget was available beginning on November 25th on the county website and on December 2nd at the offices of the board and the Monroe County Clerk. The legal notice on this hearing and the availability of the recommended budget was published on November 29th and December 1st. So we've met these legal requirements. And finally, the budget resolution, that is the General Appropriations Act of the county, has been prepared for you. It reflects what is included in the budget. Legal counsel has reviewed and has approved this separately, but prior to this hearing. The budget is constructed consistent with the Michigan Department of Treasury guidance. Each fund is balanced and is made up of revenue sections and cost centers. The budget resolution is prepared as kind of an executive summary for any reader, stakeholder to easily understand what's included in there. The big pieces of the budget and the rules for administering the budget and the authority for that. It highlights major budgeting measures. I believe that begins in section 10. And then it provides some trended information on significant matters that impact the budget each year. And we also include some graphs, charts, easy to understand, not 2 or 3 years, but some of them are 10, 15, 20 years, so you can kind of see the history and story of the organization in terms of at least the financial management of it. At the close of the public hearing, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, you may then act on the recommended budget resolution that it was included in the document for you. What to do? There I went. A subject of the public hearing is outlined in the public advertisement is the millage or millage rates to be levied to collect public funds to then be expended. They're on the chart in front of you, the general operating, the senior services, Fairview, museum system, and then indigent defense. You approved these rates earlier this year at the recommendation of our equalization director on May 20th. The taxable value of all properties in Monroe County is up 4.72% over 2024, almost $8 billion. The total of the assessed value is $10.4 billion, up 8.71% over the prior year. And so we're seeing a spread. We've talked about reserves, and the treasurer talked about it in some of his reports. We're going to need 6 months of cash for cash flow before we begin collecting the summer tax in July of each year, so keep that in mind. Property valuation, here's a chart that shows the assessed value and the taxable value. So the assessed is in red, the taxable is in blue, and you start to see this growing divide, and that's because our assessed value, which is market value, is actually growing faster than the taxable value, which is good. If you're a property owner, your carrying cost for the market value of your property is lower when it comes to the tax bill that arrives at your doorstep. And then here we're just showing that spread, and you can see it growing over time. And today it's at $2.4 billion. Here's the property valuation by class across Monroe County. By and large, residential is the largest class. Our goal in economic development is to reshape this pie so the residential isn't as large. And so we're spreading that tax burden to the other classes, commercial and industrial. As a sidebar, I was at Frenchtown Township earlier today at a public hearing on an industrial facilities exemption. That was approved. And I can tell you, Ford Motor Company is building a second facility in Frenchtown Township, 1.5 million square feet, with an option to add another 500,000 square feet. And so this is a $200 million plus development, initially 160 jobs, $7.2 million of annual payroll. So again, great effort, and I commend Frenchtown Township for their leadership in economic development and working with us to reshape that pie. General fund revenues and expenditures. We have a balanced budget with general fund revenues at $63.5 million. The largest source of funding is what you saw in the prior pie, which is property taxes at 63.2%. It's down from 65% in 2024. So again, we hope to, see other sources of revenue come in to change that, but some of these are percentage driven as you run through the formula and models. The second largest is intergovernmental revenues, 12.8%. That's primarily revenue sharing and grants, and in grants we receive over $7 million each year in grants into the county. Let's look at the expenditures. Again, they match the revenues, and here we see that staffing is the largest component of the budget, 62.63%. Next out is transfer out to other funds, which is 17.2%, and that's trended down from last year, but consistent with 2024 percentage of the pie. Here we're showing you the expenditures, but as a percentage by functional area of government. What's important in this slide is that the largest amount of your expenditure of the general fund is for public safety, and that's consistent. 26, 25, and 24, it's been 47%. Second is other, that contains the transfers out to other funds. That's remained fairly consistent, 23.5, 24, 21.5%. And then third is the staff agencies, which is the lime color here. That represents the cost to staff 15 various departments here in the county. These are all taken from the front of your budget book, pages 5 and 6, where we break it down by legislative, staff agencies, public safety, and we're just presenting that functional layout in a pie. This shows the largest amount of the other expenditure category that I noted on the prior slide. These are select special revenue funds. In total, there's $29.1 million here, $6.5 million of general fund support, so about 22.5%. That's down from last year from where it was, where we were at 26%. So again, these other special revenue funds have an ability, and our formula is at the bottom. So once we figure out special revenue funds, their expenditures, the general fund appropriation then balances those other funds, and we're just representing it here on the slide. It looks a little complicated, but what we're trying to show here is the where we show the transfer out to these funds, less the cost allocation plan, is really the net general fund cost to these. And so it's a little, it's not accounting gimmickry. It's just we have to appropriate the funds to balance the funds, but then we charge the cost allocation charges, which are overhead, to these other funds, and we do it uniformly across the entire organization. Every fund other than the general fund that is supported by the general fund pays this overhead back to the general fund. So that's just showing you and you'll see it at the front of the budget. So when you're thinking about, and the example was the child care fund this evening, when you look at this model, you can see that, that position was, I think, $24,000. It's more than that. It's just, when you look at this net, it's coming from other sources, and we're just kind of demonstrating that for you here. This shows the general fund with these other select special revenue funds. In total, they're $86.2 million in the 2026 budget. When we add all of our funds in aggregate, it's $101.1 million. So we've got a lot of financial transactions that run through our office, and Sue's about wore out with a conversion of our accounting and financial management system and budget and a few other things, but gives you a sense of the size of the organization and what we're managing. This just incorporates all of the other funds that we're charging the cost allocation plan to and those dollar amounts. And so in total, the cost allocation plan charges out $2.3 million of overhead. That's up about $200,000 from the prior year. And these are all actuals from 2024. We don't calculate these. An outside third party does it. They follow Office of Management and Budget guidelines. OMB Circular A87 is the actual definition where you can find that. But we just take those numbers and roll them out across there, and we don't deviate or change those at all. The 2026 recommended budget, $63,565,646. It is balanced. If you recall, as we've tracked along, we had a shortfall, and we were identifying that shortfall along the way. So we closed that shortfall by transferring fund balance carry forward into the 2026 budget of that exact amount. And as I noted earlier, Mr. Chairman, in earlier remarks during the budget or during the meeting, the 2026 contingency account is budgeted at $635. We don't spend money out of the contingency per se. We don't expense money out of it. We have to record the cost. It's like, cost accounting. We take it from the contingency account, move it to a cost center, and expense it out of that cost center. So at the end of the year, what was the cost of that operation? We need to know what that is. And so that's how we operate under the contingency account. And that's why I was asking that motion reflect that. Looking ahead in 2027, we're projecting a shortfall of $1.1 million. I'm not overly concerned about that. Each year, sometimes we show this. We don't detail every line item in the roll-up in 2027, but we like to start shaping what that's going to look like as much as anything for policymakers such as yourself and others, including our office, to say, would we have? If that was $5 million, I'd be concerned. We'd be going back and looking at it more closely. But just be mindful of the decisions that are made throughout 2026 as they roll up into 2027 and baseline expenditures. So keep that in mind. So the adoption of the budget is, we're here, and so it's part of this overall process. There's a whole bunch of stuff way back here. Actually, we start in January and sometimes do budget throughout the entire year. There's always something that we're working on. And so we're at adoption. You adopt the budget. We are ready to load it into the new financial management system, which will be a little new to us, but we're getting there. I've been here for a couple of years, and I was very, very familiar with all the cost centers and numbers, and they're changing under the chart of accounts from Treasury. So it's changing for everybody, though. So it's a little bit of a learning curve to get up to speed on that. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, that concludes my comments and my presentation on the recommended budget. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. If not, certainly then you can open up the public hearing portion of this process for any comments from the public. I would ask the Deputy Clerk if she received any written comments for the board for consideration tonight. If not, okay, so there are no written comments that have been submitted, and so you may open the hearing, and then after that, consider adoption of the budget. And you have the model resolution. That would just simply be a motion to move the model. I can leave it up for you. Move the resolution to adopt that. It's there.
Commissioners have questions? Commissioner Lamore?
Thank you. Just probably a clarification. I think it's an error. I'm positive it's an error. But on page R9 for the prosecuting attorney, you have them listed as receiving $1,451,000 and $750 for their salary. I
What do
know
you
the
got?
prosecuting attorney would probably appreciate that,
raise.
but he got a huge raise.
R9?
R9, 10.
Oh, yeah, good catch. We're not going to pay him that.
No. Just thought might be
Good
something
catch.
we want to correct.
Yeah, it's 145,000.
Thank you. So take the 1 out of there.
175.
Got it.
Oh, yeah. Additional
Good
questions?
catch. Thank you.
Commissioner Swartout? No? Anyone else?
I'm gonna tell the prosecutor I had it in there, but they caught it. It was he'll be disappointed.
And then just one point of information for the record. What portion of the budget is committed to public safety?
47%, and that's been the same the last 3 years.
And so that's a continued commitment to public safety in the county. And we spoke earlier through email. We're optimistic with our budgeting because currently we have approximately, is it 81 deputies? I don't know the exact number.
We have 79 funded positions. We have 8 in the field training officer program. We have 2 in the academy. And Jeff, where's the email? Or do you have it?
So we have 91 funded positions, and currently
That
there's
that
80
includes command, because I have the undersheriff here. And
We captain, 1
Adam here.
lieutenant, 5 sergeant, so
say
on and so
whatever.
forth. He left, so, anyhow, I just want to point out that we're optimistic that we're going to continue to bolster our numbers for law enforcement going forward, and that's why the things we're doing, looking at compensation, total package, to make Monroe County an attractive destination, not only to attract but retain quality law enforcement. So I just wanted to mention those actual numbers. While we have 84, we're doing things to hopefully get us to that 91 soon, so our communities are protected and continue to thrive and be the better place to live, work, and raise a family.
And that's a great point. I don't disagree with, where those numbers are. The other thing to keep in mind is over the last, 10 years or so, I think we've added 22 or 23, positions into the sheriff's office. And so, the Board of Commissioners and many boards of commissioners have seen the need for public safety as the #1 priority. And we can graph this thing back 20 years and you'll see that public safety is right at that 45, pushing up to the 50% mark of the general fund.
I have nothing further.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes. Any other questions?
So now we move into the public.
I just open it up for public comments. Grab the gavel a couple of times at the hit it once to open it, and then no other comments, hit it to close it.
Open it up to public comments. Do members of the public have comments on the budget? Okay, I think we're good. Public hearing is now ended. Mr. Graham?
So, I know it's getting late. I won't make, I won't say, usually every year I say something.
Call the question.
Probably not worthwhile. Not a question, call the question, right? So, I do look at these things. I don't look at the numbers. Those are beyond my jurisdiction and probably my ability, but I do look very carefully at the authorizing resolution of the General Appropriations Act. And the General Appropriations Act is the statutory reference to our budget. And so there is a lot in there. That's at the beginning of the budget document. There's a lot in there. It's been in there. It's been refined over the years, and I work with the group to try to make sure that's up to date. Very minor, small role in the whole process. And I do review the law, the Uniform Budgeting and Accounting Act, Truth in Budgeting Act, and the law concerning the publication and the notice of hearing. I do review all of that and go through all of that. And, everything is in order if you need to hear that from me. And I've done this now for 23 years. And you know, it's a big thing. It's really, like I said, the most important thing, one of the most important things, if not the most important thing that this board does. It operates the whole county government for a year. And then it gives a snapshot of what is expected in the year following, 2027. So just wanted to say that and congratulate the finance department and this board, really, on running a very good system here.
Thank you. Commissioner Swartout?
I'll make the motion to move the resolution to adopt the 2026-2027 annual line item budget as the General Appropriations Act of the County of Monroe.
Moved by Commissioner Swartout.
Second that.
Supported by Commissioner Lamore. Any questions or comments on this motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Wenzel,
Yes.
Commissioner Swartout,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levens,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Asper,
Yes.
Commissioner Heinderling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamore.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under old business, the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission update is, do we have an update?
I know, I asked, that was part of the agenda to have that moved to the next meeting. I'm not sure, when the folks at Plant Moran gave their, interim preliminary memo, they indicated, I believe it was December 19th. I'll reach out to them in the interim and see if that can be moved up a few days, because I'm sure some finality and many of the things that we have going on would be welcome. And so I'll see if they can move up their timetable to be at that Tuesday meeting. But I know that's the 16th, and I believe they indicated needing possibly the 19th to 20th. So that being said, hopefully we'll have something next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any new business? We now move into the second round of public comment. Are there citizens in the audience who wish to address the board?
My name's Stephen Meyer from Monroe County District 6, and I think I heard at the beginning of the meeting that the public should expect to see the report from the independent investigator in January. Is that correct? Because I've been curious, like when or what we would see, what product there would be for the public to see, and specifically, like if there's recommendations to the commission, so we can see what the recommendations are and then see what the commission does with those recommendations, specifically with ethical issues. And there's a lot of discussion tonight about conflicts of interests. I wrote down the term nepotism flavor. I would like to see mandatory financial disclosures from commissioners. And when we saw the applications for these board appointments, one of the questions that was asked to all those applicants is, what would you do if you are presented with a conflict of interest? And they responded, but there's nothing necessarily that compels somebody to act in a way to prevent a conflict of interest. Also with the commission, if I'm aware that it's sort of a honor system, and I think in the past few years, we have not seen commissioners always act honorably or in the best interest in that regard. And so I think if there's mandatory financial disclosures, we could also find out if perhaps a commissioner whose family member is indicted on something, we could tell if a commissioner has a stake in some of these entities that are named in that indictment. Because as it stands, we can't look up, like with a living trust, like the public can't see who's involved in the living trust, and so, but if they report that, then we'd know, and that would alleviate any concerns like that. Thank you.
Any other citizens who wish to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move into, we have no announcements, we'll move into members' time. Commissioner Benicki.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the board for welcoming me, welcoming me to this this meeting. I've attended a lot of meetings over the years, and I kind of know what's going on, but the help is very generous. Thank you so much. And I contemplated what I would say in my first meeting, and I went to the Bible and I found in Samuel this quote. It says, "When one rules justly over men while ruling in the fear of God, he dawns on them like the morning light, like the sun shining forth on a cloudless morning." And I'm afraid at this point we're kind of cloudy in this area. But despite what happens with attorneys, what happens with the courts, what happens with judgments, the citizens of District 2 are the main concern. They are my main concern. And they have spoken, and I don't take that lightly. And I hope in the future that their voices will be heard and not hidden, that they have a stake in this. They have the greatest stake in this of all. And I appreciate their courage to step up and appoint and vote for me to be their county commissioner. And thank you so much for everyone.
Commissioner Moore?
Just a few things to echo Commissioner Asper about the boards. I would like to see that in the future, to have some type of consistency and transparency, to be able to interview, speak in person with, ask questions of road commissioners, especially, maybe not some of the more minor boards, but definitely the road commission. And especially with this being live streamed and on video, it gives a chance to people who can't physically come to these meetings be able to see the potential people that are going to be representing them on the roads and engineering and all the stuff that goes along with roads. So I would like to see us move towards that. I know it's your prerogative as chairman to nominate. I just think it's much more transparent and better for all commissioners when we can actually speak with the potential the potential candidates that have applied. For that reason, I did want to say that's one of the reasons why I voted for David, because I relied heavily on Greg Stewart, the road commissioner that's retiring. He was exceptional for me. He's a former Bedford Township supervisor. Every time I called, he answered my call, and him and Dave Leach, who has since left, worked well together. So I asked Greg, I said, "You've talked to every single one. I know 4 of them. Who would you suggest?" And that was the name he gave me. So in that instance, I kind of want to explain where my vote for David was without, either people watching at home or here going, "Well, it doesn't even seem like you talked to anyone or interviewed anyone," or that's kind of what I had to rely on for this system. And then also too, I wanted to say publicly and on the record, I did talk to Dale and ask him if he would abstain from votes. Obviously he did not, and that's his prerogative and his choice, but I'm 100% opposed to having a county commissioner sit on this board when we have a judgment that says that seat was never vacated. I have to disagree with Phil, and he knows my disagreement, but I just wanted to publicly stated, as I have on many other occasion. I hope it doesn't come to any type of liability for the county when we essentially are filling a seat that hasn't been vacated technically. I wish we could have waited for the appeals court to make their decision, so we could have been a little more sure-footed on that. But I did want to go on record. And once again, nothing personal against Dale. Love that you ran, and the people voted on that. But we're in a very unique position. Not to play I told you so, but if you want to go back to the February 14th minutes, I said exactly this is what's going to happen if we did not put it to court. So this is where we're at. And I would also say to the chairman, I'm just merely questioning what your reasoning was. I want to be transparent. I want to be open. I think the last year has been insane, and to appoint someone you're married to, I just don't think it's a good look for the board. That was my personal opinion. You may have a different, the majority of people on this board had a different opinion. I just don't think it's a good look, and that's what I was trying to get to the bottom of. What was the reasoning behind that? I think it says a lot if someone gets upset for you just asking questions, and that's all I was doing. I'll never get upset if any one of you come up to me and ask me a question. Heck, you can probably accuse me of stuff too. I've been accused of a lot worse. So it takes a lot to ruffle my feathers, but that's my job as a county commissioner, is also to ask questions and make sure we're doing the best for Monroe County. With that, I'll pass.
Commissioner Swartout.
I'll pass.
Commissioner Lamore.
I'd like to welcome Commissioner Minneke. I thank you for going through the process, which has been very tenuous at best, and basically giving some representation right now to District 2. So I appreciate your efforts, and thank you for being here. And I also want to apologize to our prosecutor, Yorkie. He no longer gets a Christmas bonus, so that's all I'm got.
I'll pass.
Commissioner Asper?
I would say probably that Commissioner Moore articulated most of what I would agree with tonight. And I just really want to repeat the point that we all like Mr. Benecki, but there were definitely inconsistencies in the way that we handled this, simply because on the one hand, one gentleman was not allowed to sit on the dais who also did his oath of office. And right in the court things, it says its result, meaning the election, will turn on any appellate review. And so therefore, that is what we should have waited for. If that's what we were doing before, in order to be consistent, we should have gone that way. That's just my opinion from critical thinking. And I would really like to be able to say, Merry Christmas tonight, because I thought this was going to be our last meeting, but I will do whatever it takes to get my other meetings rescheduled so that I can be here next Tuesday, because that is my commitment to this board. So thank you. That's it.
Mr. Hoffman?
To protect our council, they're doing a great job, and we've got all our faith. I mean, you guys are doing a good job, and you guys are leading us right. And as far as this goes, like I've been saying, the good will prevail, the evil will fail. And I mean, a lot of hot air was running around here tonight again. A lot of things being duplicated and said over and over and over. I don't know how long we're gonna chase this duck and get back to normal. But anyhow, go ahead.
Vice Chairman Levens?
Echo comments. Welcome Dale to the board. It's nice that we're starting to get back on the right path. Candidly, I've received a lot of slings and arrows for Ms. Levens wanting to basically provide an uncompensated public service. I didn't realize all of the fuss over wanting to serve your community, and candidly, I'm a little shocked that my fellow commissioner from Bedford takes exception to having somebody to represent such a big impact to our community, the library, when there isn't anybody that's seated in South County and West County. We say nepotism, we say conflict of interest, and I'm going to question, where's the conflict for wanting to serve your community in an uncompensated fashion for oftentimes little thanks, no financial reward other than a passion to help your fellow citizens in Monroe. Betsy's been a long-time advocate for the libraries. She's done painting classes there, and she didn't just come on this. She was asked by members of that board. It's laughable to think that there's some kind of super secret Montessori conspiracy that has reaching tentacles. Anybody that's familiar with the Montessori school system is finding you folks ridiculous and outright laughable. And we know this is a personal attack against me. Commissioner Moore has used every opportunity to oppose anything that I've done to try to promote for Bedford Township. And I'm just going to say it right now. This is stuck in my craw. He's going to say something about a conflict of interest when he was caught with his hand in the cookie jar not a year ago trying to promote a grant in which he was the realtor for that thing. And council had to say, Mr. Moore, you can't financially profit from your own real estate deal. And he's going to throw slings and arrows at me tonight because Miss Levens wants to serve her community and bring information and programming to our community. Shame on you, and shame on the former chairman, disgrace, that comes here and drags us through all of this and asks for emails to be. You want to be a commissioner, you can't come up to the podium and deliver your own. You have to have a third party read an email and then tuck tail and come up here. It's absolutely outlandish, and I'm hoping in the next year that we can put this all the rest and start doing business the way we used to do it. And then further, nothing demonstrates more low information than let somebody droll on, as Commissioner Asper always does, and I find it hilarious to the nth degree on how she promoted a candidate that somehow was going to interrupt the fabric of Montessori's reaching tentacles, when that person, that attorney, was the candidate that the leaving Ms. Calder was promoting. Betsy wasn't asked by Montessori. She was asked other people, and it was about a half an hour to the deadline when nobody had filed an application. We were on vacation, and we had to do the application with a cell phone because there was zero interest. And so all of you guys that had your little ad hominem attack should be ashamed of yourself. And if you think you can attack my missus without a response, you are absolutely foolish. And I hope you sleep well tonight. Thank you.
Amen.
Well, I too want to welcome Dale Benecki to the board. I think he's going to be a breath of fresh air as we continue to move forward and doing the work of the county. I'll be very succinct in my response to Commissioner Moore on my motivation for nominating Betsy Liebens for the library position. My passion in response to you rises when I sense that your question really isn't genuine, that it's posed for effect. That's when my passion rises. I don't think your question was genuine. I think you did it simply for effect. With that, I will close. Meeting adjourned.
Right.